I had a speech, but I don't know what to say. This is the greatest compliments that I think I've ever had. And I'd like to speak all night on Red. He was the greatest. Anytime we had a basketball game, I knew the spectators were going to have a thrill. He never made a decision which wasn't right, even if he's talking about the basket, it didn't go in. But I remember down and we won the carousel tournament, and down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we were leading Fordham by 22 points with about 5 minutes to go. And they creep up to about 3, and seconds to go. Red makes a call. I jump up on my feet, and Red comes down. I'm standing at the bench. He puts his arm around me. He said, "Doc," he said, "I have had a tough day." He said, "I refereed a game this morning." He said, "Please be seated." I sat down, didn't say another word. But we were fortunate we won the ball game. This fellow was refereeing. We had St. Bonaventure one day up at St. Francis, and there was a call near the end of the game. And after the game was over, I said, "Red, you and Malkovich went to the service together, was in the same barracks and everything." I said, "You could have called this the opposite way. It would have just been as honest as either way." He said, "Skip," he said, "if that would have been my mother-in-law," he said, "I would have called it exactly as I've seen it." He's the most honest official I've ever seen. Every game was straight down the line. And to Red Mihalik, my greatest thoughts on how he's really a humble person. I like to say a few other things in regard to my basketball. I was been associated in a lot of places, and a lot of good things has happened to me in my lifetime. At 74 years of age, you'd think I'd be over the hill. Well, I am over the hill, but I like to reminisce a little bit. In 1930, I had a brother at Pitt on a basketball scholarship, and I was told if he made the grade, I would make it. Well, he invited me over to the Notre Dame Pitt football game, and he worked in the stockroom. And at the end of the game, I helped him carry towels over to the Notre Dame football team. It was Knute Rockne and the Four Horsemen. That's in 1930, more than likely before a lot of your time. In 1932, I had the privilege of playing against Purdue at Pittsburgh, and one of the players that was played in the team that year was Johnny Wooden, the greatest basketball coach of all time. They had 65 straight wins, and I guarded him, and he guarded me. In 1933, we played the same team out of Purdue, same Johnny Wooden. And in my first year, we went to a tournament in the NAIA in Kansas City at St. Francis College. The first coach I had was Johnny Wooden. Well, you know how that turned out. 40-something to 19. And this was Kansas City NAIA. It was Indiana State Teachers of Terre Haute, Indiana. In 1934, I had the privilege of playing down in Atlanta, Georgia, in the start of the NCAA. They had invited 4 teams down, and we played a half a ball game. And only in front of the coaches, non-paying. This was a coaches' convention. And that was the start of the NCAA. I played in 1934, the first year of the doubleheaders at Madison Square Garden. And in 1935 was the start of the NIT. I played in 1934, we beat Fordham. In 1985, I went up to accept an award from Roy Stokes, the greatest performance in the 50-year history of the NIT. And I had the privilege of coaching this gentleman. I had a little affiliation with golf in my time. I had the privilege of playing with Jimmy Demerit, 3 times winner of the Masters tournament. I played him in at Park Hills. He was a friend of the Murray Henry, the owners of the little shop in Hollidaysburg. He's coming through the first year, and I played 18 holes of golf with him. I was invited up to Du Bois. I played with the trick shot artist and I'll forget the other guy's name, Joe Kirkwood and Walter Hagen. Now, this is more likely predating most of you, but I represented Blair Country Club, and this is 2 of the greatest times of my life. And I'd like to end up by saying that 1987, you think you're over the hill? Well, I think I am over the hill, but St. Francis College presented me with an award, and they put my picture in the Stokes room. Up there it's hanging, a 5-foot picture with Jack Twyman and Marie Stokes. And February the 2nd, if I may, I'd like to present my wife, Beulah Yeckley. Now Beulah Hughes, I married her February the 2nd, and if the light is possible, she's sitting right down there. And I want to thank the committee for selecting me. Being one of the 6 of the first year is fantastic. Every one of these selections I think are great, and I think you've made a great selection, and thank you all.